Here we go then, Dion Mai.
Welcome everyone to Embarcadero AI Bootcamp, and in this session we will see what do you need to know to start using AI. So who am I? I am Dion, I am CTO at Ivor Solutions. I am also an Embarcadero MVP, and I have more than 50 years in experience of control and software engineering solutions. And what is my experience with AI to give this talk to you? Well, I have a startup already running using AI to develop and deliver solutions to my customers. And in that startup, we have used more than 10 million tokens in May. We are using 5 different foundation models in production. We have experience with context reg, and we are starting using MCP in our solutions. And we also use both open source and paid models. So I will try to share a little bit of this experience with you in this session today. So, giving straight to the point, in our opinion, AI is just a tool. Okay, so otherwise, the snake oil that maybe some people think that is, or the solution for all the humankind thing that other people see. For us, AI is just a tool, another kind of tool that we can use today. We can use in our software applications to deliver more value, and even better than that, we can deliver things that we weren't able to deliver before. So AI can make us take our software to the new steps, to the new areas where without AI we weren't able to do. And even with agents, RAG, MCP, AI is better at helping people do their jobs. In our humble opinion, for all the solutions of our company that work very well, the better results are when we automate some process and keep the human in the loop, keep some human watching the process, analyzing the AI performance over the process, so we will not have problems with hallucination and many other things that AI maybe can generate. And I put here in this session also a link to a presentation, an article of The Economist of why AI hasn't taken my job. This article is about January that month. And in this article, they talk about the common vision that are growing in the AI market, that AI is good to automate tasks, not jobs. So if you give to AI a narrow function, if to give to AI a simple task with a clear input and a clear expected output, it will work very well, will do a very great job. But if you scale that and give more context, give more tasks linked one another, then AI simply lose the track. We know that the models are getting better weekly basically, so maybe in the future the reality will be very different. But in this moment, the moment that I will give in this session to you, AI is very good to do simple tasks, and it's about that I want to share with you my in our experience, how you can use that, and how you can use in your software AI to deliver more value and more results to your customers. Okay, so maybe you are thinking, why is so difficult for me to apply AI? Many customers of ours have this same question, at least many of them ask us this question. why so difficult to see where to put AI in my software solution? And it's not a strange question. It's normal to think that, because AI can do what is not in your software. What I mean with this, think about a process, okay, a administrative, a law, a any other kind of process that you may have in your company that your software already take care of, and part of their process of your software are not in your code, are in your user knowledge, are in your user ability, and exactly that part of the process that your user is already doing, that you cannot do with your if structure, and in that part specifically AI will do better. Let me show us a little sample here. Let's imagine that we have a process when I receive a paper and I input that data into my system. Usually this is a common thing that occurs in many systems, and this part of receiving the paper and translate that information inside to your software is only on your user side. You don't have ifs to do that part, and exactly that part AI can do. And AI is not very good to doing ifs. We will see later that part in our session here. But for do this part of maybe translating something, maybe interpret something, this kind of work AI can do and can do very well. But this part of the process are not in your software already today. Because of that, maybe it's difficult to you to see where to put AI. I know this is here we have this new tool, this new piece, and maybe don't seem to fix it to all the other solutions that we already have, and maybe because of that, AI can do things that are not in your software today. And the real challenge is go across the difference between what your software can do and what AI can do. So to make things more clear here, our software usually are deterministic systems, okay? So a deterministic system receive a input and will also have the same output. If we put that input over a condition, over a analysis, the output will be always the same, will never change. So if we put if half the value is greater than half of dollar or greater than $15, we have sure after the end of the process that none of the values that are smaller than $15 get passed through it, okay? And AI are on the other side, the AI are non-deterministic systems. So for AI, maybe 90% of the time, the value will be greater than 50, and maybe not, maybe 10, maybe 5% of the time. So AI can change the view of the result of the process accordingly with the data that user inputted, accordingly with the prompt that you use it to give that context to the AI, and also according to the some hallucinations that the model can have. So you cannot exactly determine what will be the output of the AI execution, and also the output can vary. You can put the same prompt with some configurations, and AI can generate 10, even 100 different solutions to the same question. And maybe that 100 solutions can be half right, can be 80% of the time right, but they can be 100 different solutions for that single prompt that you put in. And of course, we have ways to deal with that. We have ways to go around this non-deterministic ability of AI. But in essence, that is the way the AI works. Okay, and other real challenge for us, or the real challenge aspect of AI is that in our software today we have the control flow of the execution, so we know for where our routine pass through when we analyze the input and the output of the routine. But for AI, we have the probability of execution. So we cannot know why AI bring that result in that case. Okay, even if you ask, okay, you give me this answer, but why you give me that answer? AI has not the ability to give you the information. Oh, because of this context that you provide me, I came across and decided to put these words for you in this context. And AI don't work in that way. We have also always a probability of working in some requests. So we have to deal with that probability. 80% of the times AI will be right. What we can do in that process that will be cover that uncertainty that AI will bring in our application when we are using it integrated in our software solution, right? So we all came across this new phrase. I find it online and I think that it's really good to say that the ifs aren't enough and AI feels weird. Okay, so we cannot do all that we want to do. We cannot automate all the process that maybe are expecting for us to automate nowadays because we need AI to do it. But AI feels weird because it's not what we usually are going to see, what we are usually going habituated to use in software development. Okay, some developers either call this new approach to using AI in development software 2.0. I don't think that we need a new label to that. Okay, so I don't think that we need a name, but some developers are calling this new name software 2.0 because of this change in behavior that we have now with AI that we does not have before. Okay, and going to a more practical approach, what we can help you to decide is choose your tools wisely. So for working with AI, you will need some tools, and it's important to you to think through it maybe even before you start the solution, the application, or even the startup that you are planning using AI. And in our opinion, it's really important for you to choose a good IDE system. So LLM editors are very productive. It's amazing how much and how fast they can write code, but keep core yours. Okay, remember that I put here the link of Anthropic co-founder talking. It was a very recent talk that he gives, and he talked about how they will cut Windsurf. Windsurf is a software IDE integrated with OpenAI, and they will cut access to Windsurf inside Anthropic. For maybe you don't know, Anthropic is a other model similar to ChatGPT with some specific characteristics. But the important thing is that they will cut the access to Windsurf because, in his words, they don't want to give clouds to OpenAI freely. It's a very strong statement when he say online because cloud also has its own coding tools online available for people to use. So if you are thinking to use LLMs to write your code, what we can provide you is the vision that you cannot put all your code inside a LLM. Okay, let me clarify that. Think of there are many things that AI already have seen, and they are very good at replicate it. And if you are starting a new software solution, if you are using to automate some process, maybe you will generate some kind of code or part of your system was never done before by a LLM. If you put that piece of code that was never done before inside an LLM will learn how to do that piece of code that we never see before. But if you separate your software and keep only the simple stuff, only the CRUD, the data access, the API consumption. I think I put a later list on this session as well. But if you put all that stuff that are common, for the LLM, they will work very well, and you will not lose your software to the LLM logic. Okay, think about the Anthropic. Maybe what he are saying is projection. Maybe he we don't know. Maybe Anthropic read the source that were put in Cloud Code. Maybe not. Maybe he only heard about AI, OpenAI doing that. We also don't know, but what we can have sure is that if they has this concern, maybe we must have this concern in our own software applications. Okay, and for us, what worked well is this: keep that simplification. What will be on LLMs, what LLMs will have access, and what they will not. So give it some thought, what is common and what is not. What is common, what every other software in your business area has, that LLM can access, can help you write code, and everything will works fine. But maybe some logic, maybe some piece of code are very specific, very core of your business, and maybe for you will be a good idea to not putting that core of your business inside a LLM to help you code over that. Okay, and to clarify this, to illustrate, we have the case of a glass of wine. These are both pictures generated by Gemini, and when we ask LLM to generate an image of a glass of wine, they can generate. They have seen tons of glass of wine before, but was a very common bug of LLMs. If you ask the LLM to generate a very full glass of wine, and I put that in this prompt, okay, a robot, cyberpunk robot inside a British 80s bar with a wine with a very different color, and the glass must be over the top. And no LLM can generate that image accordingly, because none of the glass of wine images are full until the top. It's not a common thing for people who drink wine do this kind of thing. So because of LLMs never seen that before, they are very difficult. They are very difficult times trying to replicate it. They cannot do it very well. Okay, and it's not exclusively by Gemini. With this picture I generate by ChatGPT, and you can see that the glass is a little more full, but either way is not over the top, is not near to the top of the glass. And this maybe illustrate you what I'm trying to say, that part of your core business is this glass of wine. none of LLMs can maybe have access to read it. And if it's so, keep it that to yourself. Don't put that inside a LLM or a LLM edition, okay? But the half glass of wine that we seen a lot on the internet today, that part will be fine working with LLMs. They already have seen this and they will not learn anything new just writing that piece of code for you, okay? And other thing that I ask is to generate a glass of wine with a color that they never have seen before. They generate this greenish like glass of wine. Of course, it's not a very new color. Maybe already has some line of this color in the world today, but also to illustrate that they cannot generate something that they never see. They can change some aspects, but they still have this difficult to generate very new things, okay? And just to end this topic, I promise you this is the last one. This is a video generated by Gemini View, and as you can see on the video here, the glass is not full. Even the prompt asking to be a glass full, and even the first image of Gemini having the glass full, for the video this kind of still not working. So to end this topic, many new features of the LLMs will still have this bug that cannot generate something that they are not trained on and something that they never had seen before. And you can take advantage of that given the thought of your system, of your applications, and what you will share with LLMs and what you will not, okay? So, again, for start using AI, think about cloud partners. Remember that AI are very large systems. AI demand a lot of hardware to run well. So using a cloud solution will be a very interesting thing to consider when you are starting or integrate into your software system, or even create a new software solution, a new startup maybe. Think about what cloud partners do you want to use. Many great cloud partners have AI startup program, so you can have the advantage of that. You can have credits, you can have easy access to new features, you can have also sometimes support by the cloud teams to help you go through some specific aspects of the process to using AI, and that will really help you to get started, get using. So think about that, and it's a very powerful and helpful way to start. Remember, of course, it's very nice to run locally, to run maybe a open source model, but with the open source come the difficulties of using open source, and using a cloud you will not have that. Remember that you already trying to implement something very new, something that maybe was never done before without AI, and given that the top of that, given the complexity of all the difficulties of using a local model, maybe will be very challenging, very time consuming for you. Something that maybe in the start is more using a cloud partner, okay? And if you want to choose startup, okay, make your own startup, there are many technical possibilities now today, many solutions that we can deliver, that we can implement in software that was never able to do before. So this is the time. Many great investment firms are saying that the software market will lower the prices and grow in size. So many companies will demand more software solutions, And many of these software solutions they will ask for involve AI and things that we were never able to do before. So beside of the hype and the buzzwords, we have real opportunities here to apply AI to make great process, to make new things. And if you have an idea or know some process, maybe it's the time for you to choose to do that. And if you choose to start a startup or start a new uh, company, remember that even Embarcadero has their startup program, the community edition of Delphi C Builder. So even for Delphi, for the local software solution, we can have help to not invest a lot of money, not have to use many of our resources inside the implementation of the new solution that you may be thinking to do. So consider that, okay? And what to look for. So when you start to do a new process, start to use AI to automate some process, to start using AI inside your software, in our experience, what work well is to have good metrics. Okay, remember that as I told before, the process that AI can do and can do well is not on your system today. So if this process is not on your system today, it's very difficult for you to have good metrics of it and to know where the AI is doing greater job, is doing job better than the user has done before or not. So in our experience, the first thing that you must do is have good metrics, have good KPOs, have good KPIs to look at the process and understand what you want AI to achieve. And after that, deliver that result to your customer, to your users in anyway, the people that are buying your software. Okay, so start with the metrics will help you a lot and will make the things very simpler for you, because if you don't have metrics, how you can prove that AI is better to do what a human usually to do that before. Okay, so many tools, we have many different tools to use, and many different tools will have different results. So even to compare different models, different solution, different foundation models, even for that you will give advantage if you have good metrics to see if this model of Gemini runs better than this model of GPT, and for this process it's better to use GPT over Gemini or either way else. So if you don't have metrics, you cannot analyze that, and will be very difficult for you to evaluate in our experience. Okay, and how to choose a model. Well, we have a specific session on this topic at this Embarcadero event, so you can look after before. And in this session, we will talk about how we choose at our company the models and what in a empirical way to do we have found using the models. Okay, this model works better for this solution, this model works better for that solution, and also what the exclusively things that each model has, because a lot of models has many common aspects that you can use in all the models at the same time, but other models has specific features that maybe will work only fine in that process or that kind of application that you are trying to use. Okay, so look after this session to learn how you can choose the better model for your software. And be ready for scale. Remember that AI, cloud, social, this tech are born and ready for scale. If you are trying to automate some process, remember that maybe it's a new process that never was done before by software, and maybe you can reach a large amount of users and grow your startup very fast. So think of that. Give a thought of how you can escalate your solution, how you can be prepared to operate in a large amount of users, a large amount of data. Okay, in our experience, to relate some process when we run to a simple solution, each run of a process will cost us $1 to each run. To the beginning of the end in the cloud process will run at cost of $1. And when we escalate that to all the customer needs, the average monthly account of the cloud will be $2,000 and in cloud system, and of course will be very more expenses that the process can afford to pay. So for only one process, the price was very fine, very okay to pay, but for a very large scale, the goes off the roof, and we have to going back to analysis phase to recalibrate the things and make the price go down. So think of that when you are designing your solutions. Be ready to scale, be ready to be cloud first, be AI first, and of course go to social media. Make your solutions ready for many users as you can. Okay. Think about the data area. So many customers, when we are starting to show our tools and implement our solutions, and many companies, the first question was, where is the data, where I get access to the data, how I can see all the data of this process. And of course we think of that before, so we already has a large set of reports. We gave easy access to that reports, of course with security, but it's a very common thing to heard of when you are working with AI solutions. So it's other kind of persons that will buy our software solution now. I think if you start coding software years before, the user usually want to get the results. I want to just finish this process, and I want a software that does that for me. But nowadays the user don't only want a software that finish the process. They want a software that finish the process and now also show the data. Show me the data. So think of that. Make your startup, your solution, your AI part of the process be clear, be ready to give reports, give answers, also integrate that with the metrics that we are talking before. So with all of that integrated, your software will be a very good solution. Your customer will be very happy with what you are maybe delivering to them. Okay. And think about what to delegate to AI, again, to talk about tasks and not jobs, right? So even for your company, think through what you will ask to AI to do. It's a good exercise not to simply go to AI and put what you want that to generate, but think through what AI must do for my company, for my software, and why it should not. Let me give a sample like this session. Of course, I use AI to this session to do the research, to do the resume of the things, to make the text more synthetic, but I does not use to write what I will speak to you. I does not like to use it to write the text that I use in this session, because if you use a lot of AI in this way, it make things more flat and less interesting to persons that are uh, watching you. So even with AI, and maybe AI will be able to write a session for me, I don't like to delegate that part of the session to AI. I only like to delegate the manual, the only typing task of the session to AI. And in our company and in our software solutions, we try to always do the same. Okay, so see what are the jobs that you want to do, and only some of the tasks will be done by AI. Other tasks will be done by human by purpose on choose. Okay, not because AI cannot do, but because we think that the value of a human doing that job, that task, will be even greater than AI. Okay, and also does not delegate at this time very large jobs to AI, because usually the result is not good. Even in the past events of Gemini, of GPT, even Claude, they say that many of the new models can run with many agents, even 7 hours straight, working in software solutions without any human interaction. At the end of the process, a human must look at what AI has done and see if he have done it correctly. Okay, so even if you make AI work for a very large time, you will not be able to just make AI alone deliver what they are done. Also, we have humans to look after, so that part of the job will always be done at this moment by humans. Okay, remember that not only AI is new, so we have a lot of new technologies, not only AI. And in this picture, like I put in this small video, I put a Alexa system, and we have many other new technologies that are able to integrate with AI or not. And many scientists are saying that AI will do even more with that. So I think that using AI is not only the new option that you have. You can use something that does not has AI and put AI inside it. You can bring easily access to AI to a system that already are running. So there is many new technologies, many new opportunities that you can work with if you choose to go in that way. So, to conclude, there is a lot to learn. You can do it. You have done before. Something that I usually talk to my uh, customers is that over the years, at least in my experience, we have seen a lot of changes. We have seen many things very different now from what they are then. To illustrate that, we have seen Delphi 7 going old school. We have seen the new versions of Delphi. We have seen the standardized of APIs and the use of APIs that you are many of you use today in your software solutions. And if you go back 5, maybe 10 years, was not very common use APIs. Okay, so many of that things have changed along the way. We have seen many systems go split in layers. We have client server before. Now we have many layer systems. Many other changes that we are doing in our daily basis working software solutions, and maybe didn't give the thought to understand that changes happen. What AI is doing is AI speed up the changes. Okay, So if we think that 2 years ago, AI basically wasn't able to do anything concrete in our world, and 2 years after that, they are able to do a lot of tasks, a lot of things that many humans cannot do. It's a very strange way to look at things. Okay, so in our opinion, what are going to happen is the speed of change will increase. So we'll have many other technologies came even faster to the market that was before. And for that, you must be ready if you want to deliver quality software, if you want to deliver new solutions, will be great things to watch. Okay, so there's a lot to learn, but you can do it. You have done it before. Your software, of course, the way that you write software today is not the same way that maybe you started. You simply does not give the thought of that, but I'll be sure that it's very different way, and it will change more. It will change more with AI, with LLMs, with local LLMs, with the improvements of the IDEs, and of course with the needs of our customers, of our users that wanted this kind of improvement that AI can bring to the software solutions. Okay, so keep in touch, keep that in mind, and don't lose the time. AI is not just snake oil. AI is a thing that are here to stay and already has made a lot of changes and will do a lot of more. Okay, so really thank you for your time, for your attention. Here we have my contact, my company website, and if you have some specific needs, you can ask me by email or you can ask here at the session. I may be here to answer all the questions that you have about this topic. Okay, so thank you, Ian and Embarcadero, for the opportunity.
Excellent, really good session. And what I liked about it, I had enough time to take my dog outside as well because I did have the thing on as well. But I moved to an apartment, and my dog goes, "I need to go out," and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the middle of a webinar. Don't you realise it's important?" But it's good. Anyway, the good news is I have Dion here in the studio with me. Let me just change my view and turn you on, so to speak. Hello, Dion. How's it going?
Hello, Ian. How are
Perfect.
you?
Yeah, that was very good. And I thought it was very interesting because you said a lot of things that I'm kind of like, that's what I think as well. It provoked quite a lot of chat, mainly from Rick, I have to say, but also a few others as well. One guy was DF3YT. He said, I found Quen to be the best Pascal based one. That's not one I know, actually. Quen, QWEN. I'm going to look it up.
Is the model from Alibaba,
Oh,
Ian?
okay. All right. Well, there you go. I didn't know that one. There's so much AI stuff going on that it gets a bit overwhelming. And Rick said a couple of things that I will mention. He says a lot, but as one of them was you guys need to start running your own language models. I think it means LLMs. Um, and as I said to him, what makes you think we aren't? See, I think when he's saying you guys, I think he meant Embarcadero and Idera. But we are looking at various solutions, so we say, and what is the best direction. The thing about AI is, it, as you know, Dion, is very fast changing. And the trouble is that our time between releases is quite long. And actually, right now, in the field of AI, 6 months, which is what it could be, is a really long time. I mean, AI just changes very quickly in 6 months. But I liked your video immensely. I thought it was one guy said your wine seems to have a beer head on it, and I'm like, I don't know, because you were saying, and I thought this was a kind of good point, which was um, the reason that you can't get a glass that's overflowed, or you couldn't, because I think they fixed it now, but you couldn't, was because most of the LLMs or large language models are only as good as the data you've trained it on. That's what you were saying, right?
Yes, exactly the point. And I try to illustrate that, Ian, because many software company has this afraid now what we should do with LLMs. And I think that everything that LLM already have seen is okay to give them to do. But everything that is new, we can separate and not put on
Right. I'm
LLM.
just going to put your website up as well. It's yvra-ai.com. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just make that appear up there, which I have. So if they scan, see, it's like magic. Ding, there it is. And I'll put it up in the chat here. But yes, I mean, that is the point that with some of these things, it's only as good as what it's trained on. So if you only ever trained it to learn French, then it'd be useless if you said to it, speak Italian to me, because it's like, I don't know, or Portuguese, for example, your native language. But
Yes.
and that's the trouble that we're having with Delphi to a certain degree, because um, typically Delphi coders are very. I don't want to use the word old-fashioned. Let's say they do things in a particular way, and they like to do it that way. People are scanning your website as well. You'll be pleased to hear. But
Nice.
and so they don't like change, or traditionally they haven't liked change, and so a lot of the code is not public. There's millions and, in fact, billions of lines of Delphi code out there. And I did a webinar in the 30 for 30 series where I showed how many projects there are written in Delphi. I went to Schiphol for the Amsterdam Delphi Summit, and all the overhead announcements that are made for the airline, your flight will be delayed by 5, all of those are done by Delphi. All of the advertising that comes up, that's all done by Delphi. Not one single line of code for any of those projects is in the public domain, which means that the large language models cannot train themselves on that code. And in fact, almost every project, and I think every project, when I think about it, that I worked on since Delphi 1 came out is not in the public domain. So no large language model was trained on any of that code I wrote. But all of the public stuff I've done for Embarcadero and as an MVP is in GitHub. And you know where it says your code has been in the Arctic repository? You must have had it with one of yours. I think that is where they were training the large language models, because it seems too much of a coincidence that 1 year later out comes all these large language models, and they all seem to, it just. But it maybe not. Maybe it just feels to me like that's what they did. So one day someone's going to ask, Chat GPT to do some Delphi code, and some of my horrible code will come out. And they'll all be sorry that they scanned it. So. But yeah, it's interesting what you said about that, and I think that's another thing that you emphasized as well, which was if you've got a secret, a trade secret to your code, you shouldn't get the large language model to understand it and train on it. And I agree with that. And the example I give is Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's very famous. I know it exists in Brazil, but most countries have it. It's like McDonald's, and Kentucky Fried Chicken, their slogan is secret blend of herbs and spices. So the coating for the chicken is a secret. It's the same in the Coca-Cola's formula. And if you were able to train a large language model on Kentucky Fried Chicken's recipes or Coca-Cola's recipes, then someone down the road like Pepsi or some other chicken place could say, create me a recipe for a delicious fried chicken coating, and it would go, what fried chicken
Yeah.
coatings do I know? Oh, here's one from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it would tweak the recipe a bit because, they go out of their way not to totally copy what you've done, but you've just given away your trade secret. And it's the same with your code. If you have something unique about how you um, calculate overtime or do some other calculation, and it's your specialist thing that your program's very, very good at. If you train the large language model on it, someone down the road who's your competitor says, "Give me a routine that calculates overtime," and it goes, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that." Doink. And it'll manipulate it and it'll reword all the variables, but really, there are only a few different ways of writing the same code. You know that as well as I do, that you can only write the code for a specific problem in one or two ways. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And so, yeah, it's a problem. Uh, on your site, I haven't gone to your site yet because I've been busy. But this is your new company, is that right? Because I know you used to be another company. You moved, yeah.
Yes.
I think some of your old guys are
Yes,
joining
I
later
moved
for a
from.
different session. So
Yeah, I moved from Equasoft. We used to work with old source, but as you may know, in US, the development demand are slowing down. Not the software demand. We see that the market for software are very, very, very high, but for the labor market are slowing down, mostly because of AI. We think there are other reasons as well, but AI has changed that
yeah,
in our
I think
opinion.
it's a problem. I think that, as I said in my opening session, AI is here to stay. This is something that people are going to have to learn to live with. It's not, AI is not going anywhere, but the impact is on certain jobs. It's a problem. My daughter, she finished university last year and trained as a graphic designer. She also did another degree in Korean, so she can speak Korean. But ironically, the two, yeah, she's crazy. She does weird stuff. But she's a designer. Of
Very
course,
nice.
she's crazy. But I saw her yesterday for Father's Day. But she went to. I've said this before, but she went to a job as an intern. On the first day, they taught her about their company, and she had to read through brochures. But on the second day, they sat her down and said, "Right, we're going to show you how to use our AI, our artificial intelligence." And that was it. After that, they were just writing prompts to create graphics. So all of her skills that she just spent 4 years at university, and uh, education is expensive in the United States. I describe her degree as my Tesla because it costs as much as a Tesla. So I could have bought a Tesla. I paid for it, a lot of her education. But those 4 years, her job in those years changed. That was it. And that's graphic designers. But translation is another area where AI does a very good job. I have an app on my phone that I pull up, which is a Microsoft app. And when I go to Brazil, I don't speak Portuguese, and sometimes I meet developers who only speak Portuguese. And that app helps us a lot. I mean, it helps me with Spanish. I speak some Spanish, but not enough to say, no, my sink is still leaking, or you didn't fix my tap properly, or whatever the guy's doing. But that's AI's, that is really, in the old days, you would have a translator to do that. Now you can just pull out an app and do it, and it's a problem. And I think, as you said, the job of a software developer is also going to change. And I think that we will go from being coders who write code to people who tell something else what it is we want. So we will be very good at describing the functionality of the program that we want, and we'll write less code. Is that a good thing? I don't know. But the other point you made as well, which I thought was very interesting, was where you said, but once you've had that code written by the AI, you need to go and check it. You need to see what the AI has done because, and this is a session that's coming up another time, which will be about automated checking of code, which is fine if you use the AI to check code for quality and security. But wait a minute, now you've got an AI writing it, an AI checking it. Where's the human? I guess the human just uses the application or puts the money in the bank. I don't know, but yeah, it's
And yeah, even the AI companies, if you see
yeah,
Cloud or OpenAI speeches, they read the code that the AI write. They not put on production code without a human intervention. So even they that create the LLMs are reviewing the
yeah. Because you
source
said
code.
something about Windsurf, was it Windsurf AI? It's banned from being used by Anthropic or someone like that. Who was it?
Yes, they ban, they use it because they say that maybe OpenAI will access that source code. Is that a projection? What is
Isn't
that?
that isn't
We don't
that
know.
just typical? It's one of those things where you're like, use AI, oh, but we're not going to use it. It's just so, and they're like, well, we're training the opposition. Well, wait a minute, but you want us to give you our code, and trust you, but you don't trust your opposition. And I suppose they could say, well, we're trustworthy and they're not, or something. But it's still such it's hypocrisy,
And
really.
there are some articles, Ian, where the companies say that they not guarantee has no guarantee that the LLMs will not learn from what you ask them.
Ah,
So they will not guarantee that. So even without the training of your source code, if you ask something, they does not guarantee that the LLM will not learn from what you
yeah.
teaching the LLM on the
I
runtime.
mean, I suppose I don't mind, but actually, Idea would object, and Idea would, who own Embarcadero, would be very worried about it teaching someone to create a new RAD studio, which is going to happen one day. But we have always tried to make sure that AI is turned off by default in RAD Studio. You've got to turn it on specifically. And secondly, you can choose which large language model you use or Olama and some other things we're looking at as well. Because we feel the same way. We get it. We understand, you're worried. And as I said in my opening session, we don't have $6 billion of investment to go, so someone goes, where's my money back from my $6 billion? Well, we haven't used that, so we don't care. If you don't use AI, good for you. That's up to you. That's your choice. But if you do use AI, we're trying to give you choices so you can use it in a way that you feel comfortable. So yeah, I really liked your session. I mean, I've met you in person in Brazil, and I had a lot of fun. I always say this: you're a very smart guy. You're very diligent and helping out with webinars and things like that as well. And you know a lot of good Delphi people in Brazil as well. You said that Brazil is full of them. It's full of loads and loads of really good developers. But yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to have to set up the next session. But when are you on again? You're on tomorrow, aren't you? Yes. Yeah,
tomorrow, I think.
tomorrow at
Yes,
11 a.m. my time, so it's a couple of hours earlier than it is now. And your session is different models for different solutions. I like it. Yeah, it's
yes.
interesting. And you've got another one on June the 18th as well, which is AI beyond the code, maximize your productivity. How do you do all these? You're worse than me. I mean, you must never sleep. That must be what it is. Yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
to do.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Dan, and I'll see you tomorrow. I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Tomorrow. Bye bye.